This video is coming at an interesting time in the history of DC television, as we are in the midst of a bit of a transitional period into the next era. Superman and Lois's fourth and final season coming to an end marks the final DC show on the CW, airing its final episodes just 3 days before the first episodes of the first official DCU show releases, Creature Commandos. As we look into the future, I thought it'd be a good idea to make a video discussing everything we know about the future of DC television going forward. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, help me get to 100,000 subscribers, I'm so close, and let's begin. As expected, this transitional period brings with it the endings of a few shows as well, although if anything, most of the long-running series that defined the previous era of DC television ended before 2024. The DC shows that ended this year are Sweet Tooth after its third season, and Superman and Lois on its fourth, as well as a few shows that began and ended in 2024 with just one season each, including Dead Boy Detectives, Suicide Squad Isekai, and The Penguin. There do still remain a few ongoing shows that will be getting more seasons going forward. Included in this are a few of the little kid shows that I won't be detailing, like Teen Titans Go and Bat Wheels, but a few of the other shows that are relevant, like Harley Quinn, which has been confirmed for a 5th season on Max, in which Harley and Ivy will be relocating to Metropolis, including the introductions of Lena Luthor and Brainiac. The season was initially confirmed for a November 2024 release. This didn't happen, and there haven't been any updates about the series either. I would have expected a 2025 release, except it wasn't featured on Max's Coming to Max in 2025 video, so I don't really know. Also uncertain is the Harley Quinn spin-off show Kite Man Hell Yeah, which hasn't been cancelled, but hasn't been renewed for a second season either. I guess you could consider the same to be true for The Penguin, which for now is sitting at 1 season and as a miniseries, but there is still a possibility that at some point down the line they will renew it for a second season if they come up with some good idea. This is also true for Beast Boy Lone Wolf, a series of shorts airing on Cartoon Network and posted in its entirety in one 30-minute video on YouTube. It's not really a show, again, it's only 30 minutes long in its entirety, but regardless, it's entirely possible they'll be making more of this, but it's unconfirmed if they will. Sticking to the ongoing animated series, there remains the current Superman and Batman shows. My Adventures with Superman aired its 2nd season this year and has a 3rd on the way, which will air on Adult Swim and Toonami like the first two, taking place in its own standalone universe, and with returning cast members Jack Quaid as Superman, Alice Lee as Lois Lane, Ishmael Saeed as Jimmy Olsen, and Kiana Madeira as Supergirl. In the 3rd season, Lex will lose his hair and fully become the iconic Lex Luthor. After season 2 introduced Supergirl and put a big twist on her character, it seems like season 3 will be doing the same thing for Superboy, based on his original 90s appearance, but looking more so like a combination of Clark and Lois rather than Clark and Lex, which might mean that they combine the characters of Connor Kent and John Kent into one, possibly coming from the future or being a clone. It's unconfirmed when this season will be released, but I think we could assume 2025. We don't have quite as many details about Batman Caped Crusaders Season 2, except it has been confirmed for a 2025 release. Like Season 1, it will air on Prime Video, is produced by Bruce Timm, stars Hamish Linklater as Batman, and takes place in its own standalone universe that takes place at some point in the 1940s, or at least a time that is inspired by then. And continuing off the tease from Season 1, we'll explore this show's version of the Joker, as well as I'm sure some other Batman rogues, and probably the rogues of some other superheroes as well, because Season 1 did that, with the likes of Onomatopoeia and Gentleman Ghost. Moving on to live action, when Superman Lois ends, there will be only 2 ongoing live action DC shows. Both had 1 season all the way back in 2022, and will be returning for a 2nd season in 2025. The first of these, and it's an important one, is Peacemaker, which will air its 8-episode long 2nd season in August 2025. Like Season 1, it was written by James Gunn, who also directed a few episodes. Stars John Cena as Peacemaker alongside returning characters Vigilante, Leota Adebayo, Amelia Harcourt, Johnny Economos, Judo Master, and Augie Smith, all while following up on the events of the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Creature Commandos, as well as maybe Superman, with Rick Flag Sr. seeking revenge against Peacemaker for killing his son. Season 1 was considered a DCEU show, while Season 2 was set in the DCU. According to James Gunn, just about everything in Season 1 is canon, with the exception of the Justice League scene, and while the season will actually address this, it won't be a major focus. Furthermore, some new characters will be introduced, including Sasha Bordeaux, a seemingly original character named Langston Fleury, an unnamed character played by David Dedman, and this Native American looking character who some have speculated to be Apache Chief. There's a lot going on in this 2nd season we don't know about yet, but seeing as it's not too far away, we're sure to learn more soon. Secondly is The Sandman, taking place in its own standalone universe with a second season coming out in 2025 on Netflix. It stars Tom Sturridge as Dream, alongside the returns of all the major characters from season 1 who survived, and season 2 will introduce Dream's son Orpheus, explore other mythologies and pantheons like the Greek and Norse, as well as exploring the land of Fairy, which is exclusive to the DC universe. Like season 1, the season is supposed to be a mostly, but not exactly, direct translation of the Sandman comics onto the screen. Moving on to the new shows, very soon after the making of this video, possibly even before you are watching this, the DCU will be officially kicked off with its first official project, Commandos, which will release on Max, airing its first 2 episodes on December 5th before continuing into a weekly release. Commandos was written by James Gunn and showrun by Dean Lowry, consists of 7 22-minute episodes that are animated, is TVMA, which is the TV equivalent to an R rating, and focuses on a monster-based Suicide Squad created by Waller, led by Rick Flag Sr., who will act as the co-lead of the series alongside The Bride and Nina Mazursky, and other main characters including Dr. Phosphorus, G.I. Robot, Weasel, Eric Frankenstein, Princess Ilana Rostovic, and who seems to be the main antagonist, Cersei. The Commandos go on a mission to the fictional country of Pokolistan, coming into conflict with the likes of Clayface and Cersei along the way. Each episode, leading into the finale, tells a different member's origin story, where we see some other faces from across the DC universe like Sergeant Rock and Easy Company, and probably many others that have yet to be revealed, unless they have been if you're watching this video later. An important note is that the actors portraying the main characters are meant to play those characters in live action if those characters ever appear, like Frank Grillo having been confirmed to be appearing as Rick Flag Sr. in both Superman and Peacemaker, or maybe the other way around, like Viola Davis, Steve Agee, and Sean Gunn voicing Amanda Waller, Johnny Economos, and Weasel, respectively, on the show after having played them in live action. According to James Gunn, the events of Commandos will have an impact on the events of Superman, Peacemaker, and Lanterns at the very least. Sounds like to me that it will have worldwide consequences. Sticking to animation, Prime Video will release a second Batman series in 2025, one that is very different from Caped Crusader. Bat Family is a spin-off of the movie Merry Little Batman, expanding this world's Bat Family from just Batman Damian Wayne, aka Little Batman, and Alfred, to include a few others as seen in this artwork, although it's unclear who they are. Like the movie, this will be a very child-oriented, comedy-focused project with a very unique art style that takes place in its own standalone universe alongside the movie. Finally, for the animated series is the DCU series Blue Beetle, also being a spin-off this time of the Blue Beetle movie, which can be considered mostly canon to the DCU as long as nothing contradicts a certain event, and if something does contradict, then that particular aspect is not canon. Zola Maranduena reprises his role as Jaime Reyes in a series showrun by Miguel Puga and written by Kristen Martinez. Nothing else has been confirmed, but I think it could be assumed that the rest of the characters will be returning, including Jenny Cord and the Reyes family, and the show will likely introduce and cast Head Cord, while delving into the lore of the Blue Beetle Scarab, including probably introducing the Reach. I wouldn't expect this series until 2026 at the earliest, but even then, I'd say 2027 is even more likely. Moving on to live action, there are 4 new series in development, one of which is already in pre-production, and they're all set in the DCU. The first one is Lanterns, written by a team of writers including Tom King, Justin Britt Gibson, Brianna Gibson, Damon Lindelof, Vanessa Baden-Kelly, and Chris Mundy. Chris Mundy will also serve as showrunner. Lanterns will air its 8-episode-long first season on HBO in 2026, before or after the release of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, depending on how smoothly the production goes. Lanterns will focus on an upper middle-aged veteran of the Green Lantern Corps, Hal Jordan, played by Kyle Chandler, teaming up with new recruit Jon Stewart, played by Aaron Pierre, to investigate a murder in the American heartland in a grounded, gritty take on the Lanterns that takes primary inspiration from True Detective and has a strong connection to the chapter's overarching story. The rest of the shows, like Lanterns, were confirmed in January 2023 in the DCU slate video, but since then have had little to no new information released about them. Confirmed as recently as November 21st to still be in development, Waller will air at some point in the future on Max, and will follow up on loose canon projects like the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker Season 1, as well as fully canon projects like Commandos and Peacemaker Season 2, to tell an as-of-yet unrevealed story revolving around Viola Davis's Amanda Waller. The RU suggests she'll be sent to prison, but that's not a given. Steve Agee will also reprise his role as Johnny Economos, and I'm sure many more Peacemaker and maybe Commandos characters will appear as well. Initially, the series was touted as a sort sort of Peacemaker Season 1.5 to release before Season 2, but plans changed, apparently due to the writer strikes, probably also a reworking of the show, and Peacemaker Season 2 ended up coming out first. Waller is written and showrun by Crystal Henry and Jeremy Carver. Confirmed as recently as November 22nd to be in very active development, Paradise Lost will air at some point in the future on Max, and will focus on the political complexities of Themysciran society prior to Diana's birth, inspired by Game of Thrones. But nothing new about the series has been confirmed yet. Finally is Booster Gold, which will air at some point in the future on Max and focus on Booster's origin story of being a loser in the future who steals a supersuit and time machine to go back in time to become a hero in the present day, eventually developing a sort of imposter syndrome along the way. Like Paradise Lost, nothing new about this series has been revealed. There are many other shows that have been rumored, and others I'm sure we know nothing about that they are actively developing, but for now, this is what's been confirmed. Personally, I'm definitely most looking forward to Lanterns. Now, a grounded show with a 6-year-old Hal is not at all what I would do with these characters, but at the same time, it's about time the Green Lanterns get some love, and hopefully it can lead into something more. Let me know which show you're most anticipating in the comments, and thanks for watching.